Shut up and sit down.
I'm Dan Cox, and this is your MMA update. Man, we've been gone for a while. We've had some issues. We've been hacked a little bit. My partner, as always, Bomb. Bomb, how you doing, brother?
What's going on, brother?
Man, I'm enjoying the fact that we are back in studio. We're doing the show. I've missed it so long. It's been a long time away.
Yeah, I've missed it drastically.
Withdrawals right here, man. I've been suffering.
Yep.
You know what? I want to get your take on this, Bob, because Fedor is coming back to fight, right? So, and everyone's saying, hey, well, is Fedor going to Bellator? You see him sitting cage side in some of the fights with Conor. Is he going to go in the UFC? And, of course, that's where he's going to want to go, is the UFC. What do you think? Would you like to see Fedor come back at, 38, 39, 40 years old?
Yeah, I want to see him come back. Like I said to you prior to this, we were talking about it a little bit, his last 3 fights in Strikeforce, lost. Then he fought 2 fights in M1, so he can go out on a winning note for his first retirement. Yeah, he beat 2 guys there in M1, one basically an unknown, the other one, Pedro Rizzo, 147 years old. Like I said to you, came to the ring in a wheelchair, got in the ring with a walker, and proceeded to lose the fight as scripted. So I'm not sold on the whole Fedor thing coming out of retirement. You know what? Stay home. Leave us with the good memories we have of you. Don't come back and make a spectacle of yourself just for some money. I mean, it just seems like that's what the UFC's doing these days, bringing all the old faces back. I mean, come on, seriously. Who's next? Tim Sylvia?
Yeah, and that's possible too. But for me, this is what really kills me is, and you touched on it a little bit there, is our old memories. He was once looked at as the best, period, right? Everybody, in pride, he was the best, unbeatable. And then he got beat, and he got beat again, and he got beat again. Henderson, 185er, knocked him out. What is he going to do? Does he deserve the ability to come back and have a rematch with, let's say, the heavyweight champ Verdum, who beat him, submitted him, or even Bigfoot Silva, who beat him? As a fan, I don't want to see that fight.
No, definitely not. And to be honest with you, my take on the whole thing is, what is the UFC's plan with him? Are they going to bring him back, make him an instant top 10 guy? Like, well, why is he going to be a top 10 guy over someone else that may be a number 11 or number 12? But he'll be a top 10 guy getting a fight with the guy that's in the top 10.
Yep.
And, if he wins, he'll move right up just like they did with Arlovsky. And like I said to you before, it's just going to be another ploy, a marketing ploy, for them to say, oh, look, Fedor's back out of retirement. He's a top 10 guy. He's already beat 2 top 10 guys. Now he's going to fight for, the number 3 spot against so-and-so. And after this, if he wins, he'll get a title shot, just like they did with Arlovsky. Look, they're penning Arlovsky now against Mir, an elimination fight. For what? Because Verdum and Kane are going to have a rematch. Why does Kane deserve an instant rematch, number 1? Because the guy didn't fight for over a year, came in, lost fair and square. He lost fair and square. There was no controversy. There was nothing hidden. There was no hidden agendas. He lost fair and square. So the next guy in line should get that title shot now. Kane should fall back to number 3 or 4, fight your way back up. But they don't do that. What they're going to do is they're going to bring Fedor in. They already brought out Arlovsky, and Arlovsky's number 4. He's ranked number 4. Stipe's ranked number 3.
Yeah.
Why isn't Stipe fighting for the title? Instead, they got him fighting Ben Rothwell, who's like number 7 or number 8. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me one bit. Their matchmaking is awful.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I don't want to see this Bring in some talent. Forget these old guys. Bring in the talent. We're paying for it.
Yeah.
Bring in the and let us watch good fights.
Well, you know what? The whole point of the immediate rematch, I'm sick of that. How is it? If that's the case, then why not give everybody an immediate rematch when they fight, right? Well, that's because it doesn't draw. It's not going to make big money. What is it? I don't know. I personally, I agree. I think you lose, you have to jump back in, fight your way up for that title shot. The guys that are in there are fighting, that have been sacrificing to get there, to get that shot. Frankie Edgar, good Lord, and they don't get it. And why? Is it politics? Yeah, I think it's politics. Is it about entertainment and money? Of course, that's what it's about. But the thing for me, UFC got to this point by putting on the best fights, not by putting in entertainers. And you had said it to me before, CM Punk, the guy signs, he's in the UFC. Shit, when is he going to fight, for God's sake? They're going to let him train long enough to have some skill. I don't understand it at all. And when we talk about Cain and Verdum, listen, Verdum's striking has come so far in just a matter of 2-3 years. The guy looks like a killer in there, and he really did put a beating on Velasquez. Regardless of the cardio issue that Cain had with altitude or whatever it was, he still took a beating in there. I've never seen him get beat like that. And I tell you, I'm impressed with Verdum. But the other heavyweight that I'm impressed with, and I know you are too, and you have a name for him, Frank Mir. I mean, look at Frank Mir. Now you tell me, Bob, are you impressed with this man's ability to improve as well? Look at his striking. Look what he's done. What does he deserve?
I mean, come on, Frank Mir's a guy that has gone from the heavyweight champ to a motorcycle accident, basically almost ended his career, to coming back, regaining the title, losing the title, people talking about should he be done, he needs to retire, Frank's getting old, he can't do it anymore, to all of a sudden, he's right back in the hunt.
Yeah.
He's right back in the hunt. He's going to fight Arlovsky next month. And guess what? He's going to beat Arlovsky just like he just did Silva.
Yep.
Just like he just did Duffy.
Yep.
He's going to beat him just like he did those two guys that he wasn't supposed to beat. He's going to beat him as well. Frank Mir, in my opinion, like I said to you, prior to this, Frank Mir's the guy I'm counting on and that I'm thinking is going to be the heavyweight champ in the next maybe year and a half. I think it's realistically going to happen for him because Frank Mir's the best in the heavyweight division all around. Look at his striking.
Yeah.
You want to talk about striking coming around tenfold like Verdum's. Frank Mir's is night and day compared to what he used to strike like. Now, you add that with his potent ground game, who, make no mistake about it, he's just as good, if not better than Verdum on the ground.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion anyway, so now you're talking about a guy who has all the tools necessary to win that title. And it's all finally come together for Frank. And I'm glad because I've always liked Frank Mir, always supported Frank Mir. Frank Mir is one of my favorite guys in the UFC, one of my favorite fighters, in the times I've watched it. So I'm rooting for Frank all the way. Touching back on what you said about Frankie Edgar and CM Punk a little bit here, Frankie Edgar, kid's getting screwed left and right. They passed him over twice now for title fights. Now Conor and Fedor have the show. So what's that mean?
Yeah.
Fedor's going to fight for the title? Why? Frankie Edgar just punched the shit out of him in their fight. Why is he going to fight? And last that I want to touch on is CM Punk. It's a joke. I'll tell you when he's going to have his first fight. As soon as the UFC signs Matt Hardy.
Yeah. You know what? I agree with you. It blows my mind. Frankie Edgar is one of the hardest working, most determined. The guy's got mental strength for days and days. He was the champ at 155. He was pretty much pushed down to 145. They wanted him down at 145. I think they wanted to get Aldo out of there because Aldo's not bringing in the pay-per-view dollars. He's one of the lower guys. He doesn't speak English. That's a big deal selling the fights. And then in walks Conor McGregor, This is a man that was made for the UFC. They love Conor McGregor, and they'll do anything for this guy. Why? Because he sells the fights. He promotes the fights. And, that fight with Aldo, there's no way the UFC wanted Aldo to win that fight. They wanted Conor to win that fight because they want him as champ. And, I think the politics are just really taking over, and it's controlling. For guys like yourself and myself that are old-time fans that are, we've been around the sport our whole lives, it's kind of an insult, and it gets you really frustrated to see guys like Frankie Edgar not getting the shot. And who's he going to fight now? Jeremy Stevens? Is that who's calling him out now?
Yeah. It's a joke. It's a joke, dude. I seen something about Joe Stevens fighting someone, and I'm like, where the hell is Joe Stevens been? The last I seen of Joe Stevens, he was getting knocked out left and right.
Yeah.
I just don't understand that whole concept of things. Jeremy Stevens calling out Frankie Edgar is like me calling out Brock Lesnar. It's stupid. It doesn't make sense for the division. It's not going to be a pay-per-view. I wouldn't pay for that. No. So that's something for me saying that they're going to have to put that on Fox or Fox Sports 1. And Frankie Edgar's not a Fox Sports 1 guy. He's not a Fox guy. Frankie Edgar's a pay-per-view draw. Frankie Edgar pulls in money. You know what? Keep the kid on pay-per-view. Give the kid a title fight. He deserves it.
Yep.
It's any other reason he deserves it.
And why does he bring in the pay-per-view dollars, Bum? Because he is a great fighter. Not because he goes out and talks. He's a great fighter.
And he's likable. He's a likable guy. Yeah. He doesn't, he's not out there doing the Conor McGregor thing, the UFC/WWE, tactics of self-promoting. He's not doing that. He's a guy that lets his in-ring abilities do the talking for him. And, touching on the Conor situation, Conor had the Aldo thing, it tanked. They threw Mendes in there as the late replacement. Listen, Mendes had a week and a half to train for the guy. And in a week and a half of training for Conor McGregor, Mendes took him down at will. At will. So anybody that wants to sit there and say, well, now we know how he does it against a wrestler. No, we don't. Because we knew what he did against a wrestler that trained for him for a week and a half. Let's see what happens when he fights somebody like Frankie Edgar or Chad Mendes, who have an entire training camp to prepare for him. Oh, it's going to be a totally different story at that point. I think we found the chink in his armor.
Yep.
That's what the bottom line is. He's not a good wrestler. He got put on his back numerous times in that fight.
By a guy that, like you said, had not trained. I mean, he was drinking beers 2 weeks before, and he was able to do that. If you get a Chad Mendes that was in shape like when he fought Aldo the second time, McGregor's in deep, deep trouble. He's in deep trouble. And I don't think they want to see that. Obviously, why Frankie's not getting the shot is because Frankie's going to win. Frankie's going to win. But who do you see happening because obviously the biggest fight that they're going to push now is going to be the Aldo McGregor. I mean,
it's already in the making. It's going to be December, I believe.
Yeah, huge card.
So
huge card. What do you think?
It's going to be a huge card. It's going to be a very big card because it's going to be, it's going to go right back to the same promotional aspects that it did the first time. And all the people in Brazil against all the people in Ireland. It's going to be nation versus nation, just like they did in the first go-round.
Yep.
So that's what's going to sell that fight. That's what's going to make them the most money. That's what they're going to do. So that's what I'm telling you, you're going to see in December.
Yeah, and no, that is a fact. There's no doubt about it. And they were not going to let all that money spent on the promotion and the advertising and all the media that they were doing, they were going to let that go. And you know what? I just don't see. I mean, that's a good fight to me because you got guys that are strikers. And make no mistake, listen, and I know you agree, Conor McGregor he's an elite athlete. He is a top flight guy, an awesome striker, no doubt about it. But is he going to be able to withstand Aldo? And the question with that is, did he get in Aldo's head to the point where it's going to hurt him?
Yeah, because for two reasons, okay? He's a lot bigger and longer than Aldo, He gets better leverage on his shots. Aldo tends to swing those wild overhands that he misses or connects and knocks you out. Or he does, you know, he's a little unorthodox, so to speak, you know. And Conor, I think, just his length and his leverage on shots alone will counter that, you know, awkwardness of Aldo.
Yeah.
So, and he'll have Aldo backing up most of the fight.
Yeah.
And that's a bad thing if Aldo's backing up against Conor, because Conor's controlling the pace, Conor's controlling distance. That's just going to be a bad thing for Aldo. Not to mention the fact, Aldo's not young. Aldo's not young. Aldo's going to, by the time they fight this summer, he's going to be almost another year older from when they first started promoting.
Yep.
Not fighting since, you know, the Chad Mendes fight. I don't care who you are. If you don't constantly stay hungry, if you don't constantly test yourself in the ring against opposition,
yeah,
then you become stale. You become stale. Look at what just happened to Kane and Verdun.
Yep.
That's exactly what happened to Kane. He was out for over a year. He got stale. He came back in to fight some guy that's on a rampage.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen to Aldo. And I can only see that fight going that one way. After seeing Conor fight Mendes, Aldo, I don't think is going to really stand a chance. And I think it's going to revert right back to them setting up Conor versus either Mendes again or Conor Edgar. Because that's the only other two sensible fights that you want to see in that division with full training camps.
Well, you get right back to talking about where these guys are in the rankings, right? Frankie Edgar is a number 2 guy. You've got, or Aldo number 2 guy. Frankie Edgar, they're all right there. And why are they all not fighting each other? They're being picked. It's hand-picked fights, you know? And listen, I realize...
The number 1 contender.
Yeah, well... It doesn't mean anything anymore. And I know we're all over the place on this, but listen, we haven't done this show in a long time, and we got a lot to talk about. And if we're talking about the fights being picked again, I want to bring this up. The world beater, Ronda Rousey, her fight, that was incredible to knock out Betts the way she did. And, you know, Nunes looked like a world beater in her fight. I thought it was a pretty good match. You know, you have those two fight. And then it was Miesha Tate was going to fight. And then all of a sudden, Holly Holm. Holly Holm, striking, no doubt about it. She's an incredible striker. She's an incredible athlete. She's way too young in the UFC. She's never fought this type of caliber in her life. And they're going to throw her in there with Rousey. And I'm looking at a thin division. You know, it's kind of like Ronda's running through everyone like Demetrius Johnson is. And they're going to take someone that maybe would be a threat in the future if they let her mature a little bit, get some experience, fight some high-level talent, and they're going to throw her to the wolves. And then what's that going to do to her? Because really, Bob, what is the ability for Holly Holm to beat Ronda Rousey? I mean, the odds are going to be just incredible.
Yeah, it's not even, honest to goodness, it's not even something that's crossed my mind because it's just another joke. Yeah. The only 2 fights I want to see Ronda Rousey have are Cyborg and maybe another fight with Miesha Tate, because out of all of her competition, Misha's the only girl that ever put up half of a fight with her, and it wasn't even that great of a half of a fight that she put up with.
Yeah.
But she did put up a better fight than any other girl that she's fought. And now, I think Miesha, you know, we hit on the whole, you know, the stand up and their, you know, their punching, and hers has come around full circle as well.
Power.
Her stand up is off the charts now, Miesha Tate. I mean, she's dropping people left and right. Yeah. So, what do I want to see? I definitely don't want to see Ronda Holm. I want to see Ronda Cyborg like everybody else in the world, number 1. And I wouldn't mind seeing Rousey Tate free, just for the simple fact that Miesha's gotten that much better in the time that they have, you know, since they fought.
Right, and listen, like I said, it's a thin division. I mean, what are you going to do? You're supposed to put on the best fights, and that's what it's supposed to be about. And you know yourself, Ronda's been improving her striking as well, obviously, and she landed that big right on Betts. She just, she did a lip stand right there. That was impressive. But what is not impressive about Rousey's striking to me is the lack of head movement as she comes forward. Listen, her kryptonite is going to be a striker. Her kryptonite is going to be somebody that catches her coming in and is going to drop her. That's how she'll lose. If Rousey loses, she's going to lose to a striker and someone that catches her coming forward. I don't see it as Holm. And she's in the UFC. What has she done? Her knockouts were, some head kicks way back, and in smaller divisions against such lower level competition that it's not even, like you said, it's not even something across your mind to think Holm Rousey.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. Yeah. It's frustrating as a fan. It's frustrating because we were always, you knew the one thing about the UFC, and because we would be frustrated with boxing, right? We would never see the guys, Mayweather, Pacquiao. It took 5-6 years for it to happen. Now we're dealing with Rousey, Cyborg, and the weight issue and everything. But used to be watching the UFC, you knew you were going to see the best guys fight the best guys all the time, and you were excited for it. Don't get me wrong. I love to watch the cards in the UFC, no doubt about it. Am I going to pay for some of these cards? No, definitely not. It has changed dramatically.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% with the whole, as a fan, it's not what I want to see anymore. It almost puts you on the borderline of, losing your want to even, want to watch these cards, because to be honest with you, you look at some of these pay-per-views and you're like, wow, I'm spending another $50 or $60 on another card that's just, it's not worth the money, and it really isn't. And I've said it before, those cards that are $50, $60 that you're wasting your money on basically aren't even as good as the free cards on Fox Sports 1.
Nope.
A lot of Fox Sports 1 cards are dynamite, Yeah. So maybe a little boycott needs to be done as a fan, so who knows?
You see, that you touched on something that I've been thinking about this too, Bob, because when the UFC made that deal with Fox, that was a big deal. Their network, it's a big thing for the UFC. But again, it spread them thin because they have to provide quality fights for Fox. That's part of that deal. And then what does that do? That makes the pay-per-views, a lower quality pay-per-view. You've got fighters that shouldn't be in there as a pay-per-view fighter. And then you've got guys, like Frankie Edgar, like you said, are we going to want to watch him on Fox? Well, hey, yeah, because it's free. But does he deserve it? No. Frankie Edgar is a headliner. He's a main event pay-per-view fighter. He's earned it. He should get it. And that's the bottom line on that for me. I have reached a point where it's really upsetting. And Frank Mir, just to go back to a fighter that's really improved and is on just a tear. Frank Mir, before UFC 189, I believe, the biggest card that they had ever had pay-per-view was Mir Brock, right? So yeah. Mir, listen, Mir draws numbers. I know Brock was probably the main reason that was such a big fight, but make no mistake about it. Frank Mir is an established heavyweight. He has been around so long, and he's just getting better and better. And is it the talent that he's fighting that's getting lower, Bob? Or is it Mir actually getting that much better?
No, I'll tell you what, brother. I'll end the whole thing on this. Frank Mir has gotten a lot better than the old Frank Mir. He's come around full circle in his career. Just like I said, everything's gelling now. His stand-up is almost as good as his ground game. It's going to make the guy the heavyweight champ in the UFC again. Wait and see. You're going to say Baum called it first.
Listen, Baum, you've been calling it, and you've been coming up with some awesome picks, and you've been right, And I agree with you on the Frank Mir. I don't know if he's going to be able to win the title. I think it's going to depend on who's got the title at the time, but I think he's going to get to that title shot, and I think he deserves to get that title shot. I missed the show. I'm so glad we were able to get together and have the show. It's been so long, Bob. I got to ask you a quick question. You're busting your butt. I know you're working like a maniac. How is it? How is it going? How's the family? Boston? How is everything going over there? Because you're working so much now that, you're going to open your own bank pretty soon, I heard.
It's going pretty well. It's going pretty well. I'm really busy. You know, got my middle son is in college. I'm playing college football in Washington. So things are going good. Just really busy and hectic. You know?
You know what? For me, it's one thing after another, and I won't do that to the fans and sit and complain. No, listen, life is good, man. Every day I'm above ground, I'm a happy man. You know, so listen, until the next time, Bob, what can I say? I'm humbled. Thank you so much. Guys, check us out. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to LUB-MMA. For Bomber, for LUB-MMA, I'm Dan Cox. This is your MMA update. All right.